Welcome to Monk's Temple. Settle in. Let the weight of the world, the tightness in your shoulders, the chatter in your mind, begin to soften. You are entering a space of gentle wisdom, a quiet harbor drawn from the ancient and ever-flowing stream of Buddhist teaching. Tonight, we are not here to learn something new, but to remember something very old, something woven into the fabric of your own being. We will embark on a journey through timeless principles, not in a straight line, but in a spiral, returning to core truths from different vistas, each view offering its own unique piece. So, find your comfort. Let your breath become slow and deep. And allow these words to be like moonlight on water, illuminating what has always been there. Our first step on this path begins not with an action, but with a release. It begins with understanding a fundamental truth that the Buddha taught with unflinching clarity, the nature of impermanence. In Pali, it is called anicca. Nothing in this conditioned world is static. Not the mountain, which wears down grain by grain. Not the river, which is never the same water twice. Not this feeling in your heart, not the circumstance that feels so solid today. Everything is in a state of flux, of arising and passing away. To grasp this is not to embrace pessimism, but to find a profound and lasting freedom. Let me share a story from my own early days of confusion. I was in my first year at a remote monastery, gripped by a terrible anxiety. I had become deeply attached to my meditation cushion, a simple, worn thing stuffed with rice husks. It was my anchor. One morning, I arrived to find it gone. In its place was a different one. I felt a panic that was utterly disproportionate. A deep, searing sense of loss and disruption. I frantically searched, my meditation forgotten, my peace shattered. Finally, an older monk found me, my distress plain on my face. "You are looking for your cushion?" he asked gently. I nodded, almost in tears. He led me to a storage closet. There, on a shelf, was my cushion. Next to it were a dozen others, all nearly identical. The custodian rotated them for cleaning, the monk explained. Then he pointed to the row of cushions. "Which one is yours?" he asked. "The one you used yesterday? The one you will use tomorrow? Is the comfort in the fabric and the husks, or was it in the sense of familiarity you placed upon it?" He let the question hang in the air. "The cushion did not change. Your mind made it permanent, made it mine. And when its form appeared to change, your world, which was built on that idea of permanence, shook. But look," he said, picking up a cushion at random. "It serves the same function. To support you. The function is constant. The form is always changing. Your suffering is in confusing the two. This is the heart of understanding impermanence. We build our identities, our security, our happiness on forms we insist must stay the same, our health, our relationships, our possessions, our status. We build a house on the sand of a specific moment and are devastated when the tide of time inevitably washes it away. Buddhism does not ask us to stop enjoying the beautiful, temporary forms. It invites us to enjoy them fully, precisely because they are temporary. To hold the flower, breathing in its fragrance deeply, because we know it will wilt. This knowledge doesn't spoil the joy, it makes it poignant, real, and utterly precious. It turns ownership into appreciation. It turns clinging into grateful witnessing. When you internalize this, a deep calm arises. You stop declaring war on change. You stop being shocked when things end. You begin to flow with life, rather than being broken by its current. And this grace in the face of life's inevitable transitions is one of the most deeply respected qualities a human can possess. Now, if this perspective, this first gentle unraveling of a common knot, feels like a relief, like a breath of fresh air in a stuffy room, then you are already beginning to align with this ancient way of seeing. If you wish to continue this exploration, to walk further into this garden of peace, I warmly invite you to subscribe to Monk's Temple. By joining, you simply make it easier to find your way back to this stillness whenever you need it. Your subscription is a whisper to the universe that you are choosing a path of awareness. Now, let us continue. From the understanding of impermanence, a natural and beautiful quality begins to blossom within us, compassion, or karuna. If everything and everyone is transient, then everyone is also vulnerable. Every person you meet is fighting a battle with change, with loss, with the fear of what is to come. The rude cashier is clinging to a notion of how her day should be going. The anxious colleague is terrified of an impermanent job status. The boastful friend is desperately trying to build a permanent monument of their worth. When you see through the lens of impermanence, you stop seeing adversaries and obstacles. You start seeing fellow fragile beings, all navigating the same uncertain river. I learned this not from a scripture, but from a stray dog. Near the monastery gates, there was a skinny, scruffy dog that was notoriously snappish. It would bark at everyone, baring its teeth. People avoided it, called it mean, threw stones to shoo it away. One bitterly cold winter night, I was returning late. I saw a small, shivering mound under a bare bush. It was the dog, curled tightly, trying to find warmth it couldn't. Its snarl was gone, replaced by the raw, quiet reality of suffering. In that moment, it wasn't a mean dog. It was a cold, scared, hungry creature. My heart cracked open. I didn't think. I went to the kitchen, brought out some rice and a bowl of warm water, and placed it a respectful distance away. I sat quietly, not moving toward it. It watched me, then slowly, cautiously, it crept forward and ate and drank as if it were its last meal. It didn't wag its tail. It didn't become my friend. But it stopped snarling at me from that day on. My perception of it had changed, and thus, its reality relative to me had changed. Buddhist compassion is exactly this shift in perception. It is the movement from, that is a bad dog, to, there is a suffering being. It is the movement from, that is a difficult person, to, there is a person in pain. It doesn't always mean you have to fix them or even like them. It simply means you recognize their shared vulnerability. You offer the warm bowl of non-judgmental space. This quality, when it becomes your default setting, makes you a sanctuary. People may not know why, but they will feel safer, less judged, more heard in your presence. They will respect you not because you try to be respected, but because you have offered them the profound dignity of being seen in their humanity, not just their behavior. To offer such compassion consistently, we must ensure our own well is not dry. This requires a practice that is often the very first step on the Buddhist path, mindfulness. Sati. This is more than meditation, it is the art of coming home to the present moment. It is the conscious placement of your awareness. Your mind is not your enemy, it is a powerful tool that often runs on autopilot, dragging you into past regrets and future anxieties. Mindfulness is the gentle act of taking the wheel. Imagine your mind is a vast, clear sky. Thoughts are clouds, some light and fluffy, some dark and stormy. For most of our lives, we are the cloud. We say, I am angry, fully identified with the storm. Mindfulness is the practice of shifting your identity to the sky itself. The sky holds the cloud, observes it, allows it to be, but is infinitely larger than it. The cloud drifts, the sky remains. This is not suppression. It is spacious awareness. A simple door into this sky is the breath. Your breath is always in the present moment. You cannot breathe yesterday's breath or tomorrow's breath. Right now, feel the cool air as it enters your nostrils. Feel the slight pause. Feel the warmer air as it leaves your body. Do this for 3 cycles. You have just practiced mindfulness. You have just anchored yourself in the eternal now. When you make a habit of this, returning to the breath, feeling the sensations of your feet on the ground, truly tasting your food, you build a home within yourself. From this home, you can observe the storms of emotion without drowning in them. You can choose your responses instead of being hijacked by reactions. This self-possession, this grounded calm, is visible. It commands a quiet, unwavering respect. People sense you cannot be easily knocked off center. Let us pause here, at this crossroads of understanding impermanence, feeling compassion, and anchoring in mindfulness. This is a fertile ground. Would you like to continue deeper into the temple gardens? Let us continue. Having touched the sky of mindfulness and felt the warmth of compassion born from impermanence, we now turn to a quality that allows both to flourish, patience. In the Buddhist teachings, patience, or khanti, is not a passive waiting, a teeth-gritting endurance. It is an active, resilient strength. It is the deep root system of the tree that allows it to bend in the hurricane without breaking. It is the willingness to meet life on life's terms, without demanding that it conform to our hurried timeline. I witnessed a masterclass in this kind of patience from a potter who supplied simple bowls to our monastery. I visited his workshop, expecting efficient, rhythmic production. Instead, I found a man moving with almost painful slowness. He would wedge a lump of clay for what seemed like an age, feeling for the slightest air bubble. He would center it on the wheel with a focus so deep the world fell away. And then, as the wheel spun, his hands would guide the clay upward. Once, just as a beautiful vase form was emerging, the clay collapsed in on itself, a ruined, wobbly mass. I gasped. The potter didn't sigh or frown. He simply stopped the wheel, looked at the clay with a gentle curiosity, as if it were speaking to him, and then he balled it up, sprinkled water on it, and began the process of wedging again. That one wasn't ready, he said, not to me, but to the clay. It needed to return to the hole for a while longer. I asked him later if he ever got frustrated, with the failures, with the sheer time it took. He smiled. The clay has its own pace. My job is not to impose my hurry upon it, but to listen to its readiness. If I am impatient, I force it. And forced clay always cracks in the kiln. True patience is trust, trust in the process, trust that the form will emerge when the conditions are right, not when my ego wants it to be done. His life was a meditation in right timing. He was patient with the clay, with the fire, with the slow build of his skill over decades. This is Buddhist patience, trust in the unfolding. It is patience with the person who is struggling to understand, knowing their mind has its own pace. It is patience with your own healing, knowing the wound closes layer by layer. It is patience with a difficult situation, knowing that reacting in haste often creates more entanglement. When you cultivate this deep, trusting patience, you become a person of immense steadiness. In a world of reactivity and instant gratification, your calm, persistent presence is a rare and respected anchor. This kind of patience creates the space for careful, beautiful crafting, not just of pottery, but of our communication. This brings us to a teaching the Buddha laid out with great precision: right speech. Our words are powerful. They can be weapons that leave invisible scars, or they can be balm, clarity, a bridge. Right speech asks that our words be truthful, kind, necessary, and timely. It is speech that comes from the centered space of mindfulness, filtered through the heart of compassion, and delivered with the timing of patience. I learned the cost of wrong speech painfully. In a group discussion at the monastery, a fellow student was passionately, and in my view, incorrectly, arguing a point about a historical text. I was younger, sure of my scholarship, and eager to show my knowledge. I interrupted him. I dismantled his argument with sharp, factual precision. I was not rude, but I was intellectually merciless. I won the debate. The room fell silent. He shrunk back, humiliation on his face. Later, my teacher took me aside. "You spoke the truth," he said. "But was it helpful? Did it build understanding, or did it build your own sense of being right? You used your words like a scalpel to prove a point, not like a suture to mend a gap in understanding. You severed his connection to the learning, and perhaps to this community." The sting of his words was far worse than any debate loss. I had used truth as a cudgel, violating the spirit of right speech. True right speech considers the impact, not just the intent. It asks, will these words reduce suffering? Will they build harmony? Sometimes, the most right speech is mindful silence, creating space for another to find their own truth. When you become known as someone whose word is both honest and kind, who speaks to unite rather than to divide, you earn a trust that is the bedrock of all genuine respect. From the careful garden of our speech, we turn to the soil that nourishes our entire being: gratitude. Katanutta. This is not a mere thank you for obvious blessings. It is a radical orientation of the heart. It is the practice of seeing the world not through the lens of what is lacking, but through the lens of what is already abundantly, miraculously present. The Buddha taught that a mind of gratitude is a mind close to enlightenment, for it is free from the restless hunger of wanting. I met a man who cultivated this like a master gardener. He was a groundskeeper at a public park, a man of few possessions. Every morning, without fail, he would perform a ritual. He would stand at the edge of the great lawn, cup his hands, and say aloud, "Thank you for this green canvas." He would touch the bark of an old oak and whisper, "Thank you for the shade and the strength." He would watch children play and smile, "Thank you for the laughter." One rainy, miserable day, I saw him still do it. He stood under his umbrella, looked up at the gray sky, and said, "Thank you for the water that cleans the world and fills the rivers." I asked him about it. "Oh," he said, his eyes crinkling, "it's just my daily inventory. The world gives you a free gift every single day, the gift of being here, of being alive to experience any of it, the sun and the rain. If I don't say thank you, I'm a poor guest." His life was not easy, but it was joyful. He had dissolved the barrier between himself and the world. He was in a constant, graceful relationship of receiving and thanking. This is gratitude as a form of insight. It recognizes the interdependent web that holds you, the farmers, the sun, the rain, the countless beings and conditions that allow this breath to happen. When you practice this, a contentment settles in your bones. You become someone who radiates sufficiency. People respect and are drawn to this light, for it reminds them of the abundance they too have forgotten to see. But to sustain this grateful, patient, compassionate heart, we must occasionally turn the light inward, with honesty and a gentle eye. This is the practice of self-reflection. Buddhism values pakavekkhana, the review of one's own actions, words, and thoughts. This is not the harsh, critical inner voice that berates you. That is the ego, disguised as a coach. True self-reflection is like being your own most wise and kind friend. It is a curious, compassionate inquiry. Why did I react that way? What fear was beneath that sharp word? What true need was I trying to meet? I developed a simple tool for this, which I call the 2 questions. At the end of the day, I sit quietly and ask myself just 2 things. First, today, when did I feel most connected, most alive, most at peace? I note that moment. Was it in a genuine conversation? In a moment of quiet focus? In an act of help? Second, today, when did I feel most contracted, most agitated, most separate? I note that moment too. Was it in a flash of jealousy? In a moment of procrastination? In a judgmental thought? I don't judge the answers. I just observe them. The first question shows me what aligns with my true nature. The second shows me where I was operating from ego, from fear. Over time, patterns emerge. You begin to make conscious choices toward the connected moments and understand the triggers of the contracted ones. This practice builds profound self-knowledge and authenticity. When you are engaged in this honest inner dialogue, it shows. You become more congruent. Your outer actions match your inner values. People sense this integrity, this lack of pretense. They respect you because they are interacting with the real you, not a facade built to please. And from this authentic self-knowledge blooms a beautiful, unassuming flower, humility. Nivada. In a culture that often mistakes loud confidence for strength, Buddhist humility is a superpower of quiet truth. It is the clear understanding of your place in the vast, interdependent network of life. It is not thinking less of yourself, it is thinking of yourself less. The humble person knows their strengths but does not wield them as weapons. They know their weaknesses but do not hide them in shame. They see themselves as one thread in a magnificent tapestry. I once attended a lecture by a world-renowned scholar of ancient languages. His knowledge was oceanic. After the talk, during questions, a young student asked something quite basic, revealing a fundamental misunderstanding. The room tensed, expecting a dismissive correction. The scholar leaned forward, his eyes kind. "That is an excellent question," he said sincerely. "It touches on the very heart of the difficulty in translation. My own understanding of that point evolved over 20 years. Let me walk you through how I used to see it, and where I stumbled." For 10 minutes, he shared not his expertise, but his past confusion. He made the student feel not foolish, but like a fellow traveler who had just found a crucial signpost. Afterwards, I spoke to him. "That was incredibly generous," I said. He waved a hand. "What do I gain by making another feel small? My knowledge is not mine. It was given by my teachers, by the texts, by centuries of scribes. I am merely its current custodian. My job is to pass it on, with all the maps to the dead ends I encountered, so the next traveler has an easier journey. That is humility. It is the absence of the need to be superior. It is the joy of being useful. A humble person is easy to be around, because you are not competing with their ego. They listen deeply. They acknowledge others. This creates a profound and magnetic respect. People feel elevated in their presence, not diminished. We have journeyed through the steadying power of patience, the careful craft of speech, the abundant heart of gratitude, the honest mirror of self-reflection, and the gentle strength of humility. Each is a facet of the same jewel, a life lived awake. There is more path ahead, winding into the forest of how we live in the world. Shall we continue? Let us continue our walk. The path now leads us from the inner qualities we cultivate to how they manifest in the very structure of our daily lives. We arrive at a pivotal Buddhist teaching, right livelihood. This is more than a career choice. It is a principle of alignment, asking that our work, the way we spend our life's energy to sustain ourselves, does no harm and ideally contributes to the welfare of others. The Buddha taught that a wrong livelihood poisons the mind, creating conflict and distance from one's own spirit. Right livelihood is about integrity in action, about ensuring our survival does not come at the cost of another's suffering. I knew a fisherman in a coastal village who taught me this without a single sermon. For generations, his family had used large nets, catching everything in their path. It was efficient, profitable. Then, he began to notice the sea changing. Fewer fish, more damaged ecosystems. He heard about the Buddhist precept of not harming living beings. A conflict tore at him, his tradition, his income, versus this growing pull on his conscience. One season, he made a radical choice. He sold his large nets. He invested in simple, sustainable lines and traps that allowed him to target specific, abundant species and release the young and the bycatch. His first year was hard. He caught less. He made less money. His old colleagues mocked him. But he told me, sitting on his boat at dusk, for the first time, I could look at the water and not feel a thief's guilt. I could pull a line and feel a respect for the life on the other end. My catch was smaller, but my sleep was deep. My table was less full, but my heart was. Within a few years, something remarkable happened. As other fisheries struggled, his careful methods meant the fish in his zone thrived. His reputation for quality and sustainability grew. People sought him out. He didn't become rich, but he lived well, in harmony with his world. His livelihood had become an extension of his ethics. This is the essence of right livelihood. It brings your outer actions into harmony with your inner values. When your work is congruent with your principles, you carry a natural dignity and wholeness. People may not know the details of your job, but they will sense your peace, your lack of internal conflict. They will respect you as a person of integrity, whose life is not split into compartments. To maintain such integrity, especially when we are wronged, we require a profound and liberating strength, forgiveness. Buddhism teaches forgiveness not as a moral obligation to the offender, but as a necessary surgery for the one who carries the hurt. Holding on to resentment, anger, or a grievance is like holding a burning coal in your hand, intending to throw it at someone else. You are the one who gets burned. Forgiveness is the act of dropping the coal. I worked with a woman who carried a decades-old bitterness toward a business partner who had cheated her, ruining her financially. The story was her identity, the woman who was wronged. It colored every new relationship with suspicion. A teacher gave her a curious practice, to write a letter of gratitude to her former partner. Not for the betrayal, but for the specific strength she had been forced to develop because of it. Reluctantly, she began. "Thank you," she wrote, "for forcing me to discover my own resilience, which I never knew I had. Thank you for teaching me to discern true friendship from fair-weather alliance. Thank you for showing me that my worth was not in my bank account." As she wrote, a shift occurred. She wasn't condoning his actions. She was reframing the entire event in her life's narrative. She was no longer a passive victim of his chapter, she was the author who had written stronger, wiser chapters because of it. The bitterness lost its power. It became compost for her growth. This is forgiveness in the Buddhist sense, a radical reauthoring of your own story to reclaim your power and peace. It is an act of supreme self-care and emotional maturity. When others see you are not chained to past wounds, that you have the strength to transform poison into lessons, they respect your resilience and your profound inner freedom. This freedom allows us to reside in a state of simple contentment. Santuthi. This is not complacency or a lack of ambition. It is the ability to find deep satisfaction in the adequacy of the present moment. It is the opposite of the restless, craving mind that says, "I will be happy when." Contentment whispers, "There is enough here, now, for peace." It is the mental state of having arrived, without needing to be anywhere else. I remember an old monk whose only possession was his robe, his bowl, and a small, worn book. He lived in a tiny hut. One afternoon, after a simple meal, he sat on his step, watching a line of ants carry crumbs. A look of utter, serene bliss was on his face. I sat beside him and asked, "What are you thinking about that brings such happiness?" He didn't look away from the ants. "I am thinking," he said softly, "how marvelous it is that the sun is warm, that the ants are busy, that my stomach is not hungry, and that I have nothing to do but appreciate it." His contentment was not dependent on anything external. It was a skill he had cultivated, a lens through which he viewed the basic facts of existence. He had disconnected his happiness from acquisition and achievement and plugged it directly into awareness itself. A content person is unshakable by life's minor fluctuations. They are not desperate for the next thing, and therefore, they cannot be easily manipulated by fear or desire. This inner satiety is a form of great power and peace. People respect it because it is so rare, it feels like a sanctuary from the world's relentless sales pitch. From a heart that is content, generosity flows as naturally as water downhill. Generosity, or dana, is considered the very foundation of the Buddhist path. It is the practice of giving, time, energy, resources, forgiveness, comfort, without any thought of reward. It is the direct antidote to greed, to the constricted heart of me and mine. True generosity severs the root of separation. There is a beautiful tradition in some monasteries called the gift of the empty bowl. When a new monk arrives, they are given their alms bowl. The first lesson is that the bowl must remain empty to receive. But the second, deeper lesson is that the bowl's highest purpose is to be emptied again. To give its contents to one who is hungrier. To be a vessel of transfer, not a vault for storage. I saw this embodied by a wealthy benefactor of the monastery. He donated large sums, but his most impactful gift was invisible. He had a practice of secret giving. Once a month, he would identify a family burdened by medical debt or a student unable to pay tuition. Through an anonymous intermediary, he would pay the debt in full. He never met them, never received thanks. He told me, "The joy of seeing the unburdening, from a distance, is purer than any gratitude directed at me. It keeps the gift clean. It reminds me the money was never truly mine, it was just energy passing through my hands, and my job was to direct it to a place of easing suffering." This is generosity as a spiritual practice. It transforms the giver by weakening the illusion of a separate, acquisitive self. When you live generously, you become a conduit for goodness. People may not know of your specific acts, but they will feel the benevolent, open quality of your spirit. You become known as a source of support, not a drain. This earns a deep, trust-based respect. To hold all of this, right livelihood, forgiveness, contentment, generosity, steady through life's inevitable ups and downs, we need equanimity. Upekkha. This is the crown jewel of the heart's qualities. It is not cold indifference. It is balanced warmth. It is the ability to meet pleasure and pain, praise and blame, gain and loss, with the same steady, compassionate heart. It is the mind like a vast, clear lake, reflecting the passing clouds of experience without being disturbed by them. A master pianist once visited the temple. After a sublime performance, he was met with a standing ovation. Later, at a tea gathering, a young music student passionately criticized a single phrase of his interpretation, calling it inauthentic. The room went quiet. The pianist sipped his tea, then looked at the student with genuine interest. "Tell me more," he said. "What would your heart have that phrase express?" They talked for 20 minutes about emotion and technique. After the student left, buzzing with excitement, I asked the pianist, "Weren't you upset by the criticism after such applause?" He looked surprised. The applause was a cloud. The criticism was a cloud. I am the sky that holds the music. Both are just weather passing through. One feels pleasant, the other less so, but neither changes the music that lives here, he said, touching his chest. To be moved by praise is to be at the mercy of others. To be wounded by blame is the same. Equanimity is my freedom from both. This poised, unshakable center is perhaps the most respected quality of all. It denotes a mastery over the inner world. People see that you cannot be easily knocked off balance by fortune or misfortune. You provide a steadfast, peaceful presence that is a refuge for others in their own storms. We have now explored how our inner cultivation shapes our work, heals our past, satisfies our present, opens our hands, and steadies our hearts. The journey is bringing us closer to the core. Shall we go further? Let us continue our walk. The path now turns inward, to the very source from which all these qualities spring. We arrive at the quiet center, the ultimate refuge, inner peace. This is not a passive state of blankness, nor is it the temporary calm that comes when external conditions are perfect. In the Buddhist tradition, inner peace, or Ajhata-santi, is an unshakable serenity that exists independent of circumstance. It is the peace of the deep ocean floor, undisturbed by the storms that rage on the surface. It is not something you find, it is something you uncover by letting go of everything that obscures it. I witnessed a living example of this in a woman who worked in the monastery's infirmary. Her days were filled with the sights and sounds of aging, illness, and dying, realities most of us turn from. Yet, she moved through the wards with a palpable, radiant calm. It wasn't indifference. Her eyes held deep compassion as she bathed a fevered brow or held a trembling hand. But her own spirit was like a still pond. I asked her once how she maintained her peace amidst so much suffering. She paused, polishing a simple ceramic cup. "I used to think peace was the absence of disturbance," she said. "So I fought every disturbance, the moans of pain, the fear in the eyes, my own sadness. It was a war I could never win. Then I understood. The peace is not out there where things are quiet. It is in here." She touched her heart, "and it is large enough to hold the disturbance. The moan of pain is a wave on the surface of my peace. The wave is real, it matters, I tend to it. But it does not, it cannot, drain the ocean. My practice is to remember I am the ocean, not just the wave." Her peace was active, inclusive. It didn't reject life's difficulties, it encompassed them with a boundless, compassionate space. This is the hallmark of true inner peace. It is a foundational strength that allows you to engage fully with a chaotic world without being corrupted by its chaos. When you carry this kind of peace within you, it acts as a silent anchor for everyone around you. People respect it because it is a superpower in a frantic world. It offers a glimpse of a possibility they deeply long for. To nurture and protect this inner peace, we must become guardians of what we allow into our minds and lives. This brings us to a teaching acutely relevant for our modern age: mindful consumption. The Buddha taught careful attention to what we take in, not just as food, but as sensory and mental impressions. Every input is a seed planted in the fertile soil of consciousness. We would not knowingly ingest poison for our bodies. Why would we do so for our minds? I counseled a man who was plagued by anxiety and a diffuse anger he couldn't pinpoint. We explored his daily habits. His mental diet consisted of beginning the day with news alerts of global crises, scrolling social media feeds filled with political vitriol and curated perfection during lunch, watching violent or suspenseful dramas in the evening, and falling asleep to podcasts debating societal problems. His mind was a garden where he daily planted seeds of fear, comparison, outrage, and tension. Unsurprisingly, fear, comparison, outrage, and tension were what grew. We worked on a consumption fast. For 1 week, he replaced his morning news with a short, guided meditation on loving kindness. He replaced social media scrolling with reading a few pages of poetry or nature writing. He replaced evening thrillers with documentaries about art or nature. He fell asleep to soft music or silence. The change was not immediate, but by the week's end, he reported, "The static in my head has turned down. I feel clearer. The anger is still there, but it's a smaller thing, and I can see where it comes from now." Mindful consumption is the practice of curating your inner environment. It asks, does this media, this conversation, this food, this purchase, nourish peace and understanding, or does it feed agitation and greed? When you consciously choose nourishing inputs, you cultivate a clearer, more peaceful, and more resilient mind. Others will notice the change in your demeanor. The decreased reactivity, the increased presence. They will respect the discipline and self-care evident in your clear-eyed calm. From this place of conscious consumption and inner peace, our natural impulse is to extend warmth outward in the simplest yet most profound way, through kindness. Metta, or loving kindness, is a cornerstone of Buddhist practice. But it begins not as a grand philosophy, but as a micro-action, a gentle inclination of the heart. It is the decision to be a soft place in a hard world. There is a practice I love called blessing the passerby. When you are walking down a street, sitting in a cafe, or waiting in a line, instead of retreating into your phone or your thoughts, simply look, softly, without staring, at the people around you. And silently, in your mind, offer them a simple blessing. May you be happy. May you be free from worry. May your day hold a moment of peace. You don't know their story. You don't need to. You are merely connecting to their shared humanity and wishing them well. I practiced this on a crowded, grumpy subway ride. The man across from me looked exhausted and sour. In my mind, I whispered, "May you find rest." A woman was nervously checking her watch, "May you arrive on time." The teenager with headphones, looking detached, "May you feel connected." Something subtle shifted in me. The crowded car felt less like a cage of strangers and more like a temporary community of fellow humans, all carrying invisible burdens. My own irritation melted. Kindness, in this Buddhist sense, is a radical reframing of the world from a collection of objects and obstacles into a fellowship of subjects, each deserving of care. When you make this a habit, it softens your entire being. Your face relaxes. Your eyes hold less judgment. People sense this nonverbal benevolence. They feel safe in your aura. This unspoken, gentle regard builds a reservoir of goodwill and respect that words often cannot. And yet, to offer genuine kindness to the world, we must not exclude the one person we are often hardest on, ourselves. This is the final, crucial piece, self-compassion. Buddhism teaches that you cannot hate yourself into a version you love. Self-compassion is the practice of extending the same kindness, patience, and understanding to yourself that you would offer to a dear friend in pain. It is the end of the civil war within. I struggled with this for years. I would make a mistake in my practice, lose my temper, be lazy, speak unskillfully, and my inner voice would be a merciless critic. "You call yourself a student? You'll never get it. You're a fraud." This voice, I believed, was what drove improvement. It was, in fact, what created exhaustion and shame. A teacher noticed my pattern. After I confessed a minor error with my typical self-flagellation, she said gently, "I hear how you speak to yourself. Would you speak to a child who had just fallen while learning to walk in that way? You clumsy fool. You'll never walk. Get up, you failure." The image was jarring. Of course not. You would say, "Oh, you fell. That's okay. Everyone falls. Let's try again." She continued, "Your spirit is that child, learning to walk the path. It needs the same encouragement." She gave me a practice. When I noticed the harsh critic, I was to physically place a hand on my heart, breathe, and say 3 sentences, slowly. This is a moment of suffering. Suffering is a part of life. May I be kind to myself in this moment. This simple act of recognition and kindness was transformative. It didn't excuse the error. It changed the climate in which the error was addressed, from one of punitive shame to one of supportive learning. Self-compassion is the foundation of emotional resilience. When you are not at war with yourself, you have boundless energy to engage with the world. People respect someone who has a healthy, forgiving relationship with themselves. It signals emotional maturity, strength, and a wholesome integrity. They know you are coming from a place of fullness, not neediness. We have now journeyed through the cultivation of a peaceful heart, the guardianship of our mind's diet, the active expression of kindness, and the foundational practice of self-care. These are not isolated virtues, but interconnected streams feeding the same river of awakened living. There is more to explore, how these principles weave together into the fabric of a day, a life. Shall we continue to see the complete tapestry? Let us continue, weaving the final threads into this tapestry of awakened living. Having touched upon the sanctuary of inner peace, the discernment of mindful consumption, the active warmth of kindness, and the foundational grace of self-compassion, we now see how these principles are not merely to be visited, but to be lived. They fuse together into a way of being, a continuous practice that transforms not just moments, but the very arc of a life. Let us explore this integration through the lens of interconnectedness, a profound insight at the heart of Buddhist wisdom. The Buddha taught that nothing exists in isolation. We are all part of a vast, flowing web of cause and condition. Your peace contributes to the world's peace. Your mindful consumption protects the web. Your kindness strengthens its threads. Your self-compassion heals one crucial node in the net, you. I saw this principle in stunning clarity in a forest near the monastery. A great old pine tree had died. It stood, gray and bare, a monument to impermanence. Most saw a dead thing. But the forestry keeper showed me otherwise. Look closer, he whispered. Woodpeckers had drilled holes in its trunk, creating nests. Lichen and moss painted its bark in vibrant greens and silvers. Insects teemed under its loose bark, feeding birds. Fungi networked at its base, breaking it down to feed the soil that nurtured young saplings all around it. This tree, he said, is more alive in its death than it ever was alone in its green prime. It is now a neighborhood. A hub. Its giving has just changed form. That tree was a perfect lesson in interconnectedness and right livelihood. Its existence, even in decay, was one of profound, generous service. It had not ceased to be. It had transformed its being into support for countless other lives. Our lives are no different. Every act of patience is a nest for someone else's fluttering anxiety. Every word of right speech is a clean nutrient for the soil of a conversation. Every moment of gratitude is a patch of moss, beautifying your corner of the world. When you live with this understanding, a deep sense of responsibility and belonging arises. You see yourself as part of the whole, and your actions become intentional contributions to the health of the entire web. This holistic perspective earns a deep, unspoken respect, for people sense you are playing a long game for the benefit of all, not just a short game for yourself. This sense of belonging naturally fosters a commitment to harmlessness, or ahimsa. While often associated with not killing, in the broader Buddhist context, ahimsa is the intention to refrain from causing suffering, through body, speech, or mind. It is a proactive gentleness. It means not just avoiding violence, but cultivating thoughts of goodwill. It means choosing not to participate in gossip, harm through speech. It means rejecting business practices that exploit, harm through livelihood. It means noticing a judgmental thought about someone and gently letting it go, harm through mind. I learned the subtlety of this from a chef in the monastery kitchen. He was preparing a simple vegetable stew. As he washed the carrots, he did so with a careful reverence. We are asking these beings to give up their form to sustain ours, he said. The least we can do is honor them with our full attention, prepare them with skill, and waste nothing. He then showed me the compost bin, where every peel and scrap went. And when we are done, we return the remains to the earth with thanks, so they can become part of the cycle again. For him, harmlessness extended to the carrot. It was a relationship of reciprocal respect. He sought to cause the least suffering possible at every step, even down to the food on his cutting board. When you adopt this principle of harmlessness as a guiding star, your life becomes an exercise in careful, considerate power. You become aware of the ripple effects of your choices. People sense this inherent gentleness and conscientiousness. They trust that in your presence, and through your actions, they, and the world, are safe. That trust is the purest form of respect. Living with such intention requires a quality we have touched upon but now see in its full context: letting go. Padanisaga. This is the practical application of non-attachment and impermanence. It is the ongoing process of release, of outcomes, of outdated identities, of grudges, of clutter, of the need to be right. The spiritual path is often one of subtraction, not addition. We let go to make space for what is truly essential. I knew a renowned calligrapher whose work was sought after for its breathtaking simplicity. People asked her secret. She said it was in the preparation. Before she would even touch ink to paper, she would spend an hour cleaning her studio. Not just dusting, but putting every item away, leaving only the absolute essentials: one brush, one ink stone, one sheet of paper. I am not just cleaning the room, she explained. I am cleaning my mind. I am putting away the clutter of wanting to create a masterpiece, of worrying about the buyer's opinion, of remembering my last failure or success. I let it all go. Until there is just the empty space, the clear mind, and the potential of the blank page. Then, and only then, can the true character of the brushstroke appear, unforced, authentic. Her art was born from her capacity for letting go. In our lives, we are constantly called to let go, of the day when we go to sleep, of our children as they grow, of plans that fall apart, of beliefs that no longer serve us. Each release, however painful, creates space for a new chapter, a new understanding, a new peace. When people observe your ability to let go with grace, to not cling to past glories or nurse old wounds, they respect your adaptability and your trust in the flow of life. They see someone who is free, not trapped in the museum of their own history. And what is the result of this life of interconnected service, harmless intent, and graceful release? It is the embodiment of wisdom, punna. In Buddhism, wisdom is not the accumulation of information. It is the direct, experiential understanding of the way things are, impermanent, impersonal, and ultimately unsatisfactory when clung to. It is the fruit that ripens on the tree of consistent practice. It is not what you know, it is how you see. There was an elderly monk who could barely read. He had no scholarly knowledge of the deep sutras. Yet, people from miles around would come to sit with him. They would bring their complex problems, their philosophical dilemmas. He would rarely say much. He might pour tea in silence, or point to a vine clinging to a wall, or simply breathe deeply. And yet, people would leave feeling their problem had been solved, or had simply dissolved. What was he giving them? He was embodying wisdom. His very presence, uncluttered, present, accepting, was a mirror. In his calm, they saw their own agitation. In his simplicity, they saw their own complications. In his quiet joy, they saw their own striving. He didn't solve their puzzle, he showed them they were holding the puzzle pieces to a picture that didn't exist. Wisdom is this luminous clarity that cuts through illusion. It allows you to respond to situations from a place of deep understanding, not reactive habit. A wise person's words are few but carry weight. Their actions are precise and timely. People respect wisdom because it is undeniable. It has the ring of truth. It offers not just answers, but a new way of seeing. Finally, all these streams, interconnectedness, harmlessness, letting go, and wisdom, flow into the great ocean of liberation, Nibbana. While often seen as a distant, transcendent goal, we can taste its essence in moments of complete freedom here and now. It is the moment when the sense of a separate, struggling self falls away, and there is just the pure, peaceful experience of being. It is the feeling you might get watching a sunset so beautiful it takes your breath away, and for a second, you are not there, just the stunning display of color and light. That gap, that release from self-preoccupation, is a taste of liberation. It can happen in simple acts. Once, I was hauling water from the well on a bitterly cold morning, my mind complaining with every step. Suddenly, I slipped on a patch of ice. The buckets flew, I landed hard, and the icy water soaked me. For a split second, there was no me to be angry or cold. There was just the shocking cold sensation, the bright blue of the sky, the sound of the spilled water dripping. In that moment, there was no problem. There was just experience. Then, of course, the I rushed back in with its commentary. But I had tasted it, a moment where the story stopped, and there was just life, immediate and vivid. Buddhist practice aims to make such moments of freedom more frequent and sustained, until they become the very ground of our being. A person who touches this freedom, even occasionally, carries a lightness, a humor, a lack of burden. They don't sweat the small stuff because they have tasted the vastness that holds it all. This lightness is incredibly attractive and respected. It is the respect given to one who is truly free. We have journeyed far, from the first recognition of impermanence to the taste of ultimate freedom. This is not a linear checklist, but a circle, a mandala. Each lesson supports and reflects the others. You may enter at any point, through the gate of patience, the door of gratitude, the path of compassion. Start where you are. Use the tools that resonate. Be gentle with yourself. The goal is not perfection, but presence, not flawlessness, but freedom. Your sincere journey itself, with all its stumbles and insights, is a gift to the world and the deepest source of true respect. Thank you for walking this path with Monk's Temple. May the peace you have found here linger in your heart as you move through your world. May you be a beacon of the very wisdom we have shared. Good night, and be well. Let the silence settle around you now, like a soft cloak. We have walked through many gardens, each with its own lesson blooming. Impermanence, compassion, patience, speech, gratitude, self-reflection, humility, livelihood, forgiveness, contentment, generosity, equanimity, peace, mindful consumption, kindness, self-compassion, interconnectedness, harmlessness, letting go, wisdom, and the taste of liberation. But knowledge is a map. Practice is the journey. Now, let us speak of how to walk, how to make this map come alive under your own feet. This is the practice of integration, of weaving these threads into the single garment of your daily life. Buddhism is not a philosophy to be admired from a distance, it is a path to be walked with your own 2 feet, feeling every stone and every patch of soft grass. Imagine your day as an empty bowl. Each mindful breath is a drop of clean water that fills it. Each act of patience is a fragrant flower placed within. Each kind word is a sweet fruit. Each moment of letting go is the removal of a pebble of worry. By day's end, you are not holding a list of completed tasks, but a bowl filled with the substance of an awakened life. The practice is in the filling, not in possessing the perfect bowl. So, how to begin? Start with the first minutes of your morning. Before you reach for your phone, before the plans for the day rush in, take 3 conscious breaths. Feel the air. Feel the bed beneath you. Acknowledge the gift of another day of experience. This is your foundational act of mindfulness and gratitude. It sets the tone. It is a whisper to your soul, today, I choose to be present. Then, as you move through your day, carry a simple, silent question with you, what is needed here? Not what do I want, not what would be easiest, but what is the most wise and compassionate response to this moment? Your coworker is snippy. What is needed? Perhaps not a counter-snip, but the space of patience, or a gentle question. You are about to criticize. What is needed? Perhaps the truth spoken with kindness, or the wisdom of silence. You feel the ache of wanting something new. What is needed? Perhaps the remembrance of contentment, the feeling of enough. This question is your compass, aligning you with right speech, right action, and right livelihood in real time. And when you inevitably forget, when you snap, when you cling, when you speak harshly, this is not failure. This is the most important part of the practice. This is the moment for self-compassion and forgiveness. Pause. Feel the regret without becoming it. Place a hand on your heart. Breathe. Say to yourself, I see. I acted from old habit. It's okay. May I learn? May I try again? This is the practice of falling down and getting up. It is the very engine of growth. Each time you do this with kindness toward yourself, you weaken the habit of self-condemnation and strengthen the muscle of mindful recovery. People will see this in you, not a person who never errs, but a person who meets their errors with grace and a commitment to do better. That humility and resilience is deeply, deeply respected. In the evening, return to your bowl. Sit for a few minutes in self-reflection. Not to judge, but to appreciate. Ask gently, when today did I feel most like my true self? When did I feel connected? Acknowledge that. When did I feel distant or reactive? Understand that, too. Then, practice letting go. Release the day, its triumphs and its stumbles, back into the past. They are finished. They are lessons now, not burdens. This nightly release is a practice in impermanence and equanimity. It prepares the bowl to be empty again, ready for the new day. This is the ongoing spiral of the path. You will circle these lessons again and again, each time at a deeper level. The first time you understand impermanence, it is an idea. The 10th time, it is a feeling in your bones as you watch a season change. The 100th time, it is the very air you breathe, the freedom in every moment. Do not seek for respect to come from others. That is a side effect, a beautiful echo. Seek instead to live with such integrity, such presence, such gentle strength, that you cannot help but respect yourself. When you look in the mirror and see a person who is trying, genuinely, compassionately trying, to live by these lights, you will find a quiet, unshakable dignity looking back at you. That self-respect is the sun. The respect of others is merely the moon, reflecting that inner light. You are not alone on this path. By listening to these words, you have joined a timeless fellowship of seekers. Every person who has ever sat in meditation, who has ever chosen kindness in the face of anger, who has ever taken a deep breath of patience, walks with you. The Buddha's wisdom is not locked in ancient texts, it is alive in every conscious choice you make. So, take this map and walk. Start small. Be infinitely patient with your progress. Celebrate the tiny victories. The withheld harsh word, the moment of true listening, the genuine thank you felt in your heart. Let your life become your practice, and let your practice become your life. This is the invitation of Monk's Temple. Not to give you something you lack, but to help you remember the profound peace and wisdom you already hold. May these teachings be a gentle companion on your journey. Thank you for your presence, for your listening heart. May you carry this peace within you, a sanctuary that travels wherever you go. May you be happy. May you be peaceful. May you be free. Good night.